Good afternoon, YouTube. My name is Flightsimguy, and as you can see, this is not FSX or DCS. Yes, sir, I am a big fan of real-time strategy games, and this is StarCraft 2. Now, I don't play this game as often as I'd like, but primarily because it's so hard. I mean, the learning curve on this thing is incredible. But let me tell you, man, when you start playing, time goes by really, really fast. Anyway, so yeah, I figured I'd just go ahead and just do a video of one of my games that I did with the AI. Now, one thing I like about StarCraft is it gives your brain a good workout. And if you have any experience with real-time strategy games, you know that the object is to go ahead and build armies, defend your armies, and try and destroy the other guy before he destroys you. So today, I'm playing Terran, and I only know how to play Terran. They say in StarCraft, choose a race and be good at it. And in this case, I am Terran, and I'm playing against the AI, which is Protoss. Now, I went ahead and put down my supply depot here, which is one of the first things you got to build before you can build your army. And then I sent a scout out to my opponent just to see what race he is. I'm not very good at scouting, and I'm sending my guy back. Now, the secret to this game is build orders. The order in which you build the buildings to construct your army. Now, what I'm doing here is a relatively advanced build order. I saw this from a professional StarCraft game, some Korean guy. And what you do is, after you put down your first supply depot, you gather up as much minerals as you can and put down a command center to wall off your base. And the good thing about this approach is, then you put a barrack right here. The Terran race is very, very poor at just about everything except defense. They're very, very good at defense with regards to the structures and whatnot. So you gotta know how to do a good offense with a good defense. So I'm putting a barrack here and a command center here. Barracks only cost 150 mineral to build, but you get 1,000 hit points. So it's very, very good as a defensive weapon. And the command center has 1,500 hit points, and you also get 30 supply with it when you build that. So that's what I'm doing here. And my opponent, I have this thing set up so that I can moderate. My opponent is putting down his second base within the 3-minute mark. Now, what's interesting? Let me go ahead and click here. Put it on 8 p.m. What's interesting is over the years since Blizzard released StarCraft 2, they've made modifications to the game. They've added new units, changed capabilities, and I've noticed that they've dumbed down their AI. Because back in the day, the AI's APM that's actually clicked per minute was way in the hundreds, and they kind of dumb it down, which is probably the reason why, it's a lot easier to play it. So the secret is get as much resources as quickly as possible so you can build an army as fast as possible to destroy your opponent. So I got my command center, I have my orbital commands, and that allows me to call down mules, which allows me to harvest minerals faster, which allows me to build more barracks and create more marines. This is called a bunker, and the bunker is just what it says. You can put guys in there, it provides armor, and you can shoot back and provides protection. Now what I have here is a barrack cranking out marines. The marines are going into the bunker, and if anybody comes attacking here, I can blast them from the bunker, and while they're attacking, they're gonna have to break through this and this and this, and while they're beating up on that, I can fire at them from the bunker. So, and I'm also creating these guys are called SCVs. These are workers. They harvest minerals from these blue crystal things into these command centers. Putting down a refinery for gas and putting down my second barrack. So I have, that's the third barrack. So I have 3 barracks and 2 command centers, bunker, and whatnot. Now, if you look over here, here's the blue. That's my opponent, AI. And that's his mineral count, and that's his gas count, and these are his supply. This is, you can call this your bank balance. The more money you have in the bank, the more resources, or the more troops and whatnot that you can build. Let's look at my opponent over here. This is called a Nexus, which is the Protoss version of a command center. These are called probes, Protoss version of SCVs. Assimilator is for gas refining. Pylon is just supply. And this is a starport, or Stargate. So what this means is, my opponent is building up. He has one ground unit, which is a Zealot here, Stalker, and Void Ray. Void Ray is air to ground and air to air. I hate these guys. And at this point, all we're doing is just building up our army. Now, what's interesting is, the thing about StarCraft 2 is the learning curve. Okay, it is difficult, but once you've mastered it, there is so many things you need to do at the same time, and that's what makes it so difficult. I'm very good when it comes to military strategy, but I'm horrible at micromanaging, and you have to have good macro to play this game well. Laying out what buildings go where, you have to think about that, and there's just too many things to think about at the same time, which is why I'm not very good at this game. Now, in the past, I was able to, after 8 to 10 hours of non-stop play, I was able to beat the computer at very hard. But the second I got in front of a human opponent, even one that's not very good, I'd often lose, because after a while, the AI is predictable. Humans aren't. And the good thing about this game is it really gives your brain a good workout. As you get older, the brain starts, not working so well. This is really, really good exercise. This and simming, they're both very challenging. Have a steep learning curve, and definitely a good intellectual workout. So what we have here, that's 1, 2, 3 barracks. This is called a factory, and here's where you create your armor. I just created a tank, and it's in siege mode. When it's in siege mode, it's like an artillery piece, and anything that comes within this range, it will put down plenty of fire. And over here, I'm building my third command center. The more command centers you have, the more minerals you can mine. The more minerals you mine, the more money you have. The more money you have, the more buildings you can build, and the more units you can produce. Okay, what we got over here? My opponent's getting ready to expand. And now, normally when you play this game, you only see your world. You can't see what the other guy is doing. I scouted earlier, and it was able to tell me that there's a base right here, but that's all I know. And according to the laws of battle, you gotta know what your opponent's doing. Also, deception. Deception is how you win battles. Psyching your opponent out. Back in World War II, just before Allies went into Normandy, they had this huge deception campaign to convince the Germans they were going to go in through the Pas-de-Calais area, and they created an entirely fiction army group called the FUSAG, First U.S. Army Group, and they had inflatable tanks and inflatable planes and all the stuff to fool the Germans into thinking they were going to attack at Pas-de-Calais when in reality they were going to attack at Normandy. Anyway, all that comes into play in this particular game, and all that stuff I can't do while I'm macromanaging. So that's what makes this game fun. Now, with my opponent, he's scouting the map. The more information you have, the better you can make decisions. I don't scout the map. Okay? All I do is figure out what my opponent is, what race, where he is, and I try to build an army as faster than he can, and it's just a battle of attrition. But if you look at these stats, I'm not doing too bad. Well, he has a lot more gas than I do. But we're in the zone when it comes to minerals, and we're in the zone when it comes to supply. Okay. Now, funny enough, the reason why I got into this game was sheer stubbornness. I've heard the phrase real-time strategy, but I didn't know what it was. And this game, the original version, StarCraft 1, was released back in 1998, a long time ago. Back then, the standing network protocol for PCs was NetBEUI or NetBIOS or something. It wasn't TCP/IP. And I've always seen this game on store shelves. And about 6 or 7 years ago, I was in Walmart, and the original StarCraft was still being sold in the box, and I said, okay, something is wrong here. A game that's been on the shelf for so long, there's got to be something to it. So I bought it home, installed it. I had no idea what the hell I was doing. Couldn't figure it out. So I posted on Facebook, what's the big deal about this game? And a friend of mine from high school, he said, well, it's probably the best game ever created, and here, I'll show you how to play it. And once I learned, that was it, man. I mean, I spent many, many hours playing the original StarCraft. And that was before I started simming again on a big basis. Now my opponent is sending an attack force, and they are putting down some good firepower here. And as you can see, I don't know squat about defending on macro. All I do is select everything and hit attack. And the void rays, they just clean me up. Okay, but I got this tank right here, which can't hit air units. It's only air to ground. So it's putting down some good fire there. And at this point, he's pretty much taking everything that I have. I got some guys in here. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them out. These air to ground, air to air, what are those things called again? They just flew right in and got killed. But I got my men out, focus fired on the void ray, and they're gone. Now this guy here, this thing right here, it's called an observer. It's permanently cloaked, and as you can see, if you look at it, I want to say that was inspired by Sentinels from the movie The Matrix. And what it is, it's a detector. It's invisible, and it can go anywhere and provide intel back to the Protoss force. So whenever you have, or whenever you're fighting the Protoss, you know that you're gonna have observers. I withstood the first barrage, so right now I'm rebuilding my force. And the good thing about the AI is if he attacks and he doesn't kill you the first time around, you know that he's weak and he's rebuilding. So I put some guys out, and I sent an attack force over here to do a retaliation. And what we got here is, we got an Immortal, we have 4 Zealots, and we got 2 Stalkers, and a couple Observers. They're just hanging out here. Now, as you can see this right here, this bridge, that's a choke point. Choke points are very, very good defensive areas, or defensive points. So I'm going to come right here, give them a little taste, pull back, and then I'll probably put a tank. It's called a Viking. I'll probably put a tank around here somewhere that if they ever try coming back to this bridge to come back to attack me, it's going to force them to go around somewhere else. Now, professional StarCraft players, they don't sacrifice men the way I do. I just create guys and throw them into battle. I don't have the skills to macro. I simply don't. I'm smart enough to know, however, that if I put a tank here, it's going to smoke anybody that comes within this area. Now, what I do next is, I got troops here, which is right here on the map. I'm going to rally all my Marines, my Medivacs, my Vikings, my tanks. I'm going to tell every new unit that I create, let's go ahead and rally right here, and I'm going to create a forward base. That way I can get guys into the action as quickly as possible. These guys here, they're called Medivacs. They heal your troops, and they're also transports. You can load up to 8 units in each of these, and you can drop them wherever you want. That requires more macro. I'm not very good at macro. And as you can see, I placed this tank in a bad position. It's caused an even greater choke point here. So I send these guys over here, put them in battle. I can stem my troops, which allows me to put down more firepower. And I just back up. That's all I need to do is back up within the range of these 2 tanks. And I can essentially just keep slowly pushing my way forward. Now there's nothing there. My troops are right here, coming in. I'm going to go ahead and take down this base. The objective of StarCraft is to destroy your opponent's bases. So right now he has 1, 2, 3 nexuses. So I need to destroy all of them. So it's just a matter of creating units and throwing them into battle. And all the while, I've been amassing more troops right here, and all I'm doing is just creating them and throwing them into battle. This guy here is an air-to-ground unit called a Tempest. I hate these units. They just cause all sorts of trouble. So the first thing I do is get all my men, focus fire on this guy, and take him out of the player. The Protoss race, StarCraft 2, and in StarCraft in general, is the most powerful of all the races. This guy here is called a carrier. This is the most powerful unit in the entire StarCraft game. Whenever you come across one of these, you're going to destroy it as quickly as possible. It's a carrier because it can deploy tiny little fighters that can attack anything in the air and anything on the ground. Now, ideally, what I need to do is get my troops here and move them around here and kill these workers. The more workers you kill as soon as possible, you slow down your opponent's economy, and it makes it defeating them a lot easier. But I'm not thinking about that when I'm fighting. All I'm doing is creating guys and throwing them in the mix. This guy here, right here, is a Dark Templar. They're permanently cloaked, and they have a psionic blade that can kill a lot of units very quickly. When you're fighting Protoss, you gotta use your scan, which I'm gonna use shortly. There it is. And once I scan, they become visible, and my unit will immediately kill them. The more workers you take out, the better. Let's see here. And you got more medivacs, and you'll create a lot of units and totally forget where you have them or where you put them, and it just takes a lot of time, you know. And as it is, I don't sim as much as I'd like because I just don't have enough time. But I do enjoy playing StarCraft when I get a chance to play. It's a lot of fun. It's an absolute lot of fun. And most of the time when I play, my opponent's putting on a Nexus here. Most of the time when I play against the computer simply because I fall apart when I play against real people. I just get frustrated and I just can't think on my feet. So if I do start recording and showing videos of my StarCraft gaming, it's gonna be of me losing to other people, which is, you know, doesn't necessarily break my heart. It'd just be nice to win every once in a while. Okay, so I take down this one and I immediately put one of my command centers here, it's a mineral field, to deny my opponent the chance of mining more stuff. So I got more guys here coming in. He put down another command center. I'm gonna go ahead and take this one out. And next, I'm just gonna go back up here again. And is there another carrier? No more carriers, but there's a void ray right here, which I don't like, so I'll get rid of that. And what I'll probably do is bring a tank, put him in siege mode right here. That way anything that comes out is gonna get hit really, really hard. Now you gotta do these scans whenever you are fighting the Protoss. The scans will reveal those Dark Templars, those cloaked units. That way you can destroy them. Otherwise, they'll wipe you out in no time. And there's my medivac, healing all my units whenever I use Stimpack. Stimpack allows them to fire faster and get more damage done quicker. But when you stim, you automatically reduce your unit's health. But the medivac heals them. So, bringing tanks into play. Gonna get them closer to the center. Put them in siege mode, and my opponent is putting down another command center or another nexus by this mineral patch. And right now I'm averaging 45 action clicks per minute. The professionals, they average anywhere from, was it 250 to 300, which is just insane. If you ever watch the videos of these guys playing, I mean, you can barely, their fingers move so fast, you know, it's just incredible. The best players are from Russia or Asia, Korea. Occasionally you'll hear in the news that some guy, you know, at some internet cafe in Korea was up 36 hours in a row playing video games, and then he just keeled over and died. Well, there's a good chance he was playing this game. And that happens because they sit on their asses the whole time, and they don't drink enough. And after 36 hours or so, if you're not drinking enough, your blood becomes too thick because you're dehydrated, and your body just falls apart. Alright, so I totally wiped out this base. This base is a done deal. He's putting down another nexus there. I have a command center here. There's one guy mining. Got new guys coming here. This original mineral patch is mined out. So is this one. But I have a command center mining here, and I have a command center mining here. I'm also fighting a battle over here, taking down this this nexus. And a good way to defeat the nexus is just go ahead and put a couple tanks there and within range, and it'll just keep firing until it's gone. And then the AI saying, "Good game, you're victorious." And that's it. So I just figured I'd go ahead and stream this just for the sake of saying, hey, simming is not the only game that I play. I also like first-person shooters. Actually, only one first-person shooter. That's Ultimate Unreal Tournament. But that's for a different day. Anyway, that's all for now. Flightsimguy here. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you next time.